This is Calvin Russell, CEO and founder of 850 Club Credit Consultation. Hope everyone's doing well today. Today we're going to talk about how to purchase the second property, being a multi-unit if you're already owning property or a homeowner. All right, let's go straight into it. So the purpose of this video is for those of you who are looking to purchase the next property, but you already own property. And there's a few things that you got to know. Number one, you have to make the decision if you're going to live in the second property, okay? Because that determines what the down payment is going to be, all right? You can only really do this every time that you're going to be living inside the next property, but there's a couple things that you must understand. Number one, your current loan type, okay? So more than likely, you already know what an FHA loan is or a conventional loan. If you don't, the short version is FHA is going to require 3.5% down, and that's for owner occupancy only. Okay, so that means that you're going to be living inside the property. All right. Now, the second type of loan is conventional. Now, conventional, you don't necessarily have to live inside the property, and that can be 3% down, 5% down, 10% down. Now, if you want it to be that low of a down payment, you may have to live inside the property. So they're looking for owner occupancy, usually in those situations, with 3% down, 5% down, and 10% down potentially. Okay, and then you also have 15% down, depending on if you have a debt to income situation. Don't worry, the lender will let you know if you do. Okay, but traditionally, you would have to put down 20% if you are not living in the property. So as you can see, if you want to buy the second property and you're not going to be living in it, that means you can only go with a conventional loan, and you would have to put down 20%. If you want to live in the property, you can go with an FHA or conventional loan, in which case you can decide between, well, you can't decide. You should be able to qualify for 3%, 5%, 10%, in some cases 15% with conventional, and then of course FHA 3.5%. But wait a minute, what if you already have an FHA loan on the current home? You can only have one open FHA loan per Social Security number. So what does that mean? That means that you would have to refinance the current loan that you have now into a conventional loan, okay? Or another loan. Well, essentially it's going to be another loan type, but in this case, let's keep things simple. You just refinance that into a conventional. That way you can go ahead and open up the FHA again, okay? Because again, you can only have one FHA. Now, you're saying, okay, Calvin, if I refinance that, my current home from an FHA, assuming you have FHA. If you have conventional, then your FHA is unused at this point, okay? But if you already have FHA for the first home, you have to refinance it if you want to use that FHA. Otherwise, it's going to be conventional, and you're just going to have to put down, what those percentages, as I mentioned earlier, okay? Now, don't forget, anytime you're buying multi-units, you want to stay between, well, you don't want to. It's up to you and your budget, obviously. So I'll break it down. If you're looking for the loan to be a residential loan, okay, not a commercial loan, that means you can go with 2 units, a 3-unit, or a 4-unit. Now, depending on where you're watching this, some of you all call it plexes, right? A duplex, a triplex, a fourplex. That's up to you. Some people call it flats. In Chicago, we call things flats. So a 2 flat, a 3 flat. But either way, keep things simple. It's a unit. So 2-unit, 3-unit, or 4-unit building. Those are going to be residential. Okay. So that means that the most that you'll put down will be the 20%. Anything above 4 units is considered commercial. Okay. Now, a commercial, you could potentially still put down 20%. It just really depends on what the rates are and essentially what the guidelines are and what lender you're going to as well. Okay. My wife and I, we just closed on a commercial property, and they wanted less than 25% down. So again, that's just at the time that we purchased the property. But again, it just really depends. But if you're going into 12 units, 18, crazy numbers like that, which is good, don't get me wrong, then of course, I think that the dynamics could potentially change. Okay, but just make sure you do your research and talk to some lenders and see what programs are out there. Remember, you can always talk to a lender without them running your credit, but they're going to be giving you generalized information like what's available and what normally happens. But if you want them to give you a scenario based on your current situation, that's where you would come in to give them more of that information, so they can essentially make sure that you get the right information based on your credit profile, your debt to income, and etc. Okay, so that is how you buy the second property. All right. It doesn't have to be a multi-unit. It could be a single family home. Obviously, the questions are still going to be the same. Do you plan on moving inside the property? Let's talk about what happens with the previous property if you decide to move out. There may be some cases where the lender does not, in order for you to get the pre-approval, the lender is not comfortable with you leaving the building that you're leaving vacant. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, Calvin, I'm going to rent the property out. Yeah, but the lender may want you to have a signed lease agreement with a security deposit deposited prior to approving the pre-approval, or not necessarily the pre-approval, but prior to closing the loan on the new property, which means that they already want someone already committed to your property. That may be your scenario. But if your DTI is a little bit different, then they may not bother you. They may say, oh yeah, you can buy the next property without having this one rented or someone committed to renting this property before closing on the next property. So again, that's that conversation to have, with a lender. All right. So that's essentially how the process works. Of course, if you got any questions, comments, or concerns, we're always here to help as far as, our recommended lender. That's who will be answering your questions. If you have any of that, he's a nationwide lender. So if you guys want his information out, of course, you can reach out to us, or I'll put it down at the bottom as well. Okay. And for those who don't know, we do have, we own a brokerage, a real estate brokerage here in Illinois. Okay. And that's Park Place Realty. I'll put the information down at the bottom if you would like to schedule a call to either purchase property or sell property here in the state of Illinois. All right. So hope this video was helpful. Be sure to share this video, like this video, and of course, be sure to subscribe as we have nothing but great content well on the way. All right. Stay tuned, guys. Have a good one.